Hello, Goldfinch class and children. This is The Snow Merchant by Sam Gayton. We've actually finished part 1 of the story and we've moved on to part 2, which is called Upon the Sea. Okay, so this is chapter 1 of part 2 and it's called Shaking Out the Truth. Remember they had caught Blustaff. The Snow Merchant was called Blustaff and he was an alchemist, and he had turned Letty's dad into a bottle of beer. It was 1 o'clock on a blustery Albion morning. The moon was the colour of rust, and the sea was the colour of coal, as Luther's wood drifted from the harbour into the world beyond it. It was Letty's first time at sea. Standing on deck, watching the lights of Pickle Lane and Vinegar Street fade and disappear, she wondered where they were heading. They were picking up speed. "Noah, why are you unfurling the sail?" "The wind has helped us so far," he shouted, pulling on the rigging and tying complicated knots. "And something tells me those old crones aren't going to give up easily." Do you remember the old crones? The walrus and the gobbler, weren't they? Letty shivered in her deerskin coat. He was right. The walrus and the gobbler hungered for snow, and they would never stop until it was theirs. "The wind will steer the ship," said Noah. "I'll take care of the sails. You can deal with Blustaff." Letty grimaced. That was one good thing. At least they had the alchemist trapped. "Do you want to give me your dar?" said Noah. "I think I've got a shelf I can stick him on. He'll be safer there." Letty handed Dar over, and Noah took him inside. Then she looked up at Blustaff. The cloud wasn't so stormy now, and he bobbed on his string, glaring at her. Here's a picture of Blustaff, the alchemist, tied on the string with his coat puffed up with the snow cloud inside it. "Those crones will come after us, you know," she said. "They want the snow cloud all to themselves." "They can't have it," he snapped. "Neither can you. It's mine. Ah!" The cloud rumbled. A spark crawled across his coat like a blue spider. "We've got a deal, Blustaff. Tell me the truth. Why come here to give me snow? What has this got to do with Ma?" "Everything," he answered miserably. "Everything. This is all her fault." Letty trembled. She looked at him fiercely. "Tell me." "Where to begin?" said Blustaff. "What do you know about your mother?" Letty hardly dared breathe, afraid she might miss a word. "I know her name was Teresa, and she had lost a game of chess to my Dar, and she was learning the pianola, and she built out in with alchemy. I've got her eyes," as in Letty's eyes looked like her mother's eyes. "And her coat," said Blustaff. "She was wearing that the day we met. Listen, girl, I came to sell you snow for one simple reason. You are Teresa Peppercorn's daughter. She was stubborn, smart and questioning, just like you. And when I first met her, she was in a lot of trouble." Blustaff paused, and Letty could see a quickness in his eyes, a craftiness. "I rescued her," he continued. "We were in Petrosia, you see, prisoners of the Tsar. An hour away from execution we were. But of course the Tsar couldn't keep a master alchemist like me in a cell for long." At once the wind interrupted him with an angry gust. He tried to carry on. "When we escaped from Petrosia, I made her my apprentice and taught her everything I knew." The wind blew hard again, and Blustaff began to pirouette on his rope. And pirouettes is when you spin and spin and spin on the spot. "But then she betrayed me." Blustaff couldn't continue his story. The wind wouldn't let him. It gusted around him. It twirled him in the air like a weather vane. "Stop it," he begged, spinning round and around, his face a queasy blur. "Help me! Let me down!" "Leave him alone," Letty scolded the wind. "Let him speak." She started to pull Blustaff down out of the wind, but Noah stopped her. "The wind's angry because he's lying," Noah said, "not because he's speaking." At once Letty understood. Of course Blustaff was lying. To him it was as natural as breathing. Somehow the wind knew, and it was trying to shake the truth out of him. She should have known herself. His eyes were easier to read now that the ether was wearing off. Letty Peppercorn, you gullible fool. Right, she shouted. That's enough. The wind stopped. A whimpering bluestaff bobbed on his rope. I'm sick of lies, said Letty. Sick. And if you lie again, I'll let the wind blow until you're sick too. Bluestaff's mouth opened and closed, but he had nothing to say. Every time you bend the truth, every time you twist it or spin away from it, the wind will twist and spin you. Letty sat down on the deck and made herself comfortable. And that's how it's going to be, for as long as it takes for the truth to come. Understand? Bluestaff nodded, and he began, slowly, for the first time in his life, to tell the truth. That's the end of chapter 1 of part 2.